Why would you put your jeans in the freezer?
Because it kills the germs.
Wait, does it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Why would you put your jeans? I don't want no cold jeans.
Okay, look, listen. We live in Dallas, mid-July. You might just put your jeans in
Why
the
would I put my
fucking
jeans
freezer.
in a freezer?
Dude, don't knock it till you've tried it. As a
all right.
As a Tucsonan who moved to Dallas.
What? Okay.
Is that what it is? It Tucsonan?
No, it's just like that's the thing. Anytime you put your clothes in the washer and dryer, like the agitation and the heat and all that stuff, it's wear and tear on your clothes. They will last longer the less often you clean them. It's just that, that's real gross. But your jeans, you put them in the freezer overnight.
Yeah.
It kills all the bacteria as long as you haven't actually spilled something on
Yeah,
them.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hang on, we have a question from the audience. Yes, sir. You in the back with the really questionable attire.
I've been putting my underwear and socks in my mini fridge.
You've been putting your underwear and your socks in your mini fridge.
Yes.
Why?
That
It's more comfortable when I put them on.
Wow.
It's comfortable when you put them on, really? Oh, that makes sense. You know what? I could see it.
Oh, okay,
I could see it.
Yeah, see, that you don't want to do to, clean them, because that's in some sensitive areas where you're getting body oils and secretion up on them that...
True.
Yeah, it's not going to get rid of that. Like jeans can handle it, sweaters, maybe, not...
Fresh, cold socks, though.
Oh, no. I need my socks warm, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's that good shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
cold
know.
Cold socks is good. I like cold socks.
Yeah, no, cold underwear, I think that's one step too far. I need that.
I would die.
Yeah, I need that buffer between
I don't know.
my bits and my jeans when I put on those icy cold jeans fresh from the freezer. But no, it feels so good.
Since I don't want to
try
turn
that.
on the heater in my house, what I've been doing is putting my robe in my dryer and then wearing it to, basically just putting it in bed with me. So I have this personal body heater that doesn't make my husband so upset when I turn up the heat when he's trying to sleep.
I didn't even think about that because my dryer has, the vents so that the waste heat goes outside.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want that right now. Is there a way I can turn that off and keep
just
all that?
turn it in.
Just
Give me that vent.
Just keep radiating that heat into my. I don't know.
Can you tell that we only have 4 episodes of anime to talk about this?
Look, these people are
I'm enjoying a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not padding.
These guys are tuning into Unsnipped. This is the shit that they want.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people were like, no, I want to hear more about how they do on the Enterprise?
Yeah, so many people were like, "I loved you talking about coming in space." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Thank you. This is what this is why we get along."
Exactly. Finally, we can talk about the things that really matter.
Space jizz.
Space jizz. How much space jizz was in Garo Vanishing Line this episode?
Not much.
Not
None.
enough. That's why it got killed.
Yeah, I didn't think of one iota of sperm was lost to the vacuum of space.
Gina came in too late.
Well, yeah, she usually does. That's why Sword finishes first.
The one mayor of the town or whatever, she was hot.
That was
Whatever, whoever she was. I don't know. Ask her name later.
yeah, that was a little generally I like this episode, but as soon as that character's on screen, it's like, you know what? I think I just got tired of Sword thanking God when he sees big tits because it is so telegraphed right now. Any minute, Sword's gonna walk in, and then he does, and there's this lag before it happens.
Yeah.
Come on, just do it. Just get it out of the way. Fucking come on, dude, just do it. And then he finally does. And it's like, okay, fine.
I kind of like Sophie,
Yeah.
kind of getting on his case for it, though. That was nice.
That's true. That was a good bit.
This feels like a plastic person,
Yeah.
telling me a story. This feels like a robot telling me what a cool story Kamen Rider is.
Yeah.
It feels like something is lost in translation here. There's some craft of intent or soul is not present in Garo Vanishing Line. There's no centerpiece, there's no anchor for any of this. And what there would be, it feels like it's an action figure.
There's so many good designs.
Yeah,
too.
there are.
That's one of the things that drew me to this series in the first place was I love these character designs. Luke might be boring, but I love his design. He's got this very imposing figure, his hair, his everything about him looks cool, but he himself is just this boring character because he has no quirks. There's nothing about him that just sets him apart from any other badass anime character. Gina is just Fujiko 2.0 or 1.5 or I don't know. She's not an evolution. She's basically just oh, hey, we really like Fujiko. Let's just take her and make her an alchemist. And And Sword is, I've loved Sword's design from the very beginning. Besides just being like this huge wall of meat with a cool costume, I also think he's hot as hell. And I'm still bored with him because there's just not enough about him. Like, there's no emotional resonance. He's funny enough, but he seems like that kind of funny that I've seen a million times before.
There's nothing new happening here.
No.
This is rehashes of tropes thrown into a salad bowl, and then you just kind of see what you get.
And visually, it's so inconsistent that I'm like, well...
I think the art is consistently good.
Yeah,
I like the art for the characters. It's usually pretty good.
For the characters.
Yes, for the characters. Specifically the characters, I think always look good.
The backgrounds are so bad.
They're uninspired and drab.
The setting is so bad.
Yeah.
The cinematography is sometimes good and then sometimes awful.
Yeah.
You know what would have made this a better episode is toward the end where Bishop, the cyborg Bill-looking guy, who he pulls out that little clicker and it's like, well, I guess this town's outlived its usefulness, and he clicks it, and the town just like, I'm sitting there like, oh shit, did he just actually waste that town? If they hadn't pulled back on that, like, no, it turns out everybody survived. If it had been...
Totally.
Yeah, like, nah, dude.
If there were some repercussions to what like they have been trying to do, like, you know, here's the bad shit that happened from the fight, but keep going. Like, that was the interesting angle. I don't know.
Yeah, but this show is very strategic with where it wants to put its tragedy. Yeah. Because it doesn't want to go too dark, but honestly, it keeps going middle of the road, and if it wants to be optimistic, it needs to be more fun. If it wants to be drab and like and more dour, it needs to go for it. But again, it's going middle of the road and trying to have its cake and eat it too, and it's failing at it.
Yeah, it feels like it consistently makes the safe choice.
Writer.exe has determined sad moment goes here, then happy moment goes here, then we have cool fight scene.
I mean, otherwise, why even blow up the town? Like, honestly, why was that scene there?
Look how cool he is, or can be. It was just like, hey, we have a big bad that can erase a city. It's just the kind of shonen-y, holy crap, you're so cool, I guess.
Also, the visual for it was bad.
It was fine.
I liked it.
It did its job.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
didn't think it was, like, inspired, but...
Yeah. That's the word. Inspired. I think you hit on something poignant here.
That's...
None of this feels inspired. It feels like just kind of a kid assembling little blocks. Here's how a story happens.
It feels inspired. Inspired by a bunch of other shows to make this.
I mean, but there's no person. There's no, like... I don't see any vision of anybody on the team coming through here. I see a bunch of people that got together and said, like, kind of by numbers goes, this would be how we tell something good.
They took Sword from an American comics from some American
pretty much.
like basically from some American comic book. They took Luke from some JRPG.
Yeah.
They took Gina from Lupin the Third.
And then we have our out of place fish out of water Sophie interacting with this kooky cast of nobodies.
Yeah.
Yep.
What if Ed from Cowboy Bebop was a straight man?
Oh my God, you're right.
Instead of the wacky, like, Cloud Cuckoo-lander.
Yeah.
Like, she fulfills the same function in the plot, but has... And Sophie's my favorite character.
Agreed. Yeah.
Because she's the one with character. She's the one, like, besides Sword, who, again, his character is basically just lifted from every other strong, goofy dude.
Yeah. One thing that I did like this episode is, in one shot, he's got that giant fucking rack of meat in front of him. Cuts away, cuts back, and it is just gone.
Yeah.
He is holding the raw bone. Like, that's what's frustrating about this show. It is capable of little touches like that, and occasionally, like, an entire super strong episode, like we had last week or the week before, when it was week before, I think, with the deer and all that.
Yeah, the road trip. Yeah,
that was a super strong episode, but it is so inconsistent and.
You know, if it had been, like, let's say we had gone to the last two episodes where we were all underwhelmed, but everything before that had been really strong, I would have been happy to still keep fucking this show.
Yes.
Because I would have been like, all right, we're in filler territory after a big battle. Like, I understand that this happens to shows. Like, every once in a while you get into a slump, it's like, okay, we're in that mid-season slump where they're trying to get their bearings. They're probably, like, spend a lot of time, their budget. But not here. Not here. I'm expecting, and then, oh God, again, the next episode preview just left me like, and we're going to do just what we did last week, but
Yeah, and here's the thing. I actually really like this episode, and if I thought there were any danger of this show being this consistent in the future, I might be sad that it was dying. But no, that's like, I am sure that if not next episode, the episode after that will just be another big old stinker.
Yeah, I think on its own, this episode, I do agree. This episode was at least better than the last one for me. I liked it, but it's just overall the fact that we're at episode 11 and I'm still so meandering about this. That is not. It's not good.
Yeah, I do not want to meander right now.
No, that's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, this is not the time for meandering. It's the time for laser focus.
Yeah, meandering was back in episode 4 when we're done with the episodic stuff, and now we're introducing main plot threads that just kind of went nowhere.
Yeah.
At least so far.
I feel like this show would have been better served with 13 episodes. And
maybe, but
I don't know.
I wouldn't trust the people who made this show to correctly identify what they've done that's good and matters and pare it down to just that.
well, okay. Here's my problem. 26 is too many. 13 was not enough. And again, this comes down to season, like how these seasons work out in Japan. So it's like,
it feels like, I don't know, because I can't even say that the execution is poor here, because even conceptually, a lot of this is just hollow to me. I don't know.
It's not hollow. I feel like we've beat this poor dead horse enough now.
Bye, Garo.
And it is a dead horse. Goodbye.
I wish you were better.
Yeah, I mean, there are some shows that when it dies, it's like, yeah, finally. And then there are some that's like, that kind of sucks. But well.
It's just like, oh, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's kind of some shows.
Well, we're going to talk about Inuyashiki is what we're going to do.
Yes!
Because holy shit.
Oh, my God.
So much.
If this is, you said earlier, this is just like everything good about this show in one episode. And I was like, oh, man, everything good. Awesome.
Yeah. Where do we, no cold open this week. Opened up right with the...
I loved that.
And I think that was perfect because, that opening is dope and it's great. And once the episode proper starts, no, I don't want to interrupt that.
No.
I want to just go.
Yeah,
agreed.
We've been dilly-dallying on, okay, we're going to fight. Oh, we're not going to fight. Like, they knew that we were at the head here, and we're like, okay, we have to do that.
It's time to get real, loosening the tie. Let's get into this shit, fellow teens.
So, by the way, I was surprised by the fake out with the plane. I legitimately thought, like...
me too.
I was
surprised.
That baby is dead. That woman is dead. And there's a part of me, on one hand, is like, okay, I guess that was a fake out. Kind of hurt that emotional resonance from the last time. On the other hand, I'm like, it's kind of clever still.
I like it because it... While what might have been lost in that last episode is still there. People still fucking died.
Oh yeah, no, people still died. I was just
But I agree. I was caught off guard by it in a good way. I was like, oh my God, because this also comes back around to no, Inuyashiki is still capable of being our fucking godly savior man, and they worked it well here.
You know what I did make a note of that wasn't quite gelling for me? I thought the music in that scene was an odd choice.
Oh yeah, I actually agree.
I don't remember it.
It was kind of like this, like
whimsical, like the villain doing his thing. I don't.
Oh, when he was like,
yeah,
okay,
like synth heavy. Like occasionally, some horns would come in, like as if it were about to get into some swelling John Williams heroic shit, but never quite getting there. Yeah. I wasn't sure what they were trying to invoke in me with it, and I mean, it didn't like tank the episode by any means. It was just an odd choice.
It was some weird Danny Elfman shit, is what it was.
Yeah, little.
And to that extent, I did not. I actually the music was at odds with the tone for me there. I think it needed to be a little darker, a little less lively, because while this was a huge scene going on, it just kind of detracted from the scene for me. Mm-hmm. I didn't even think... I would not have thought about that if you hadn't pointed it out. Because I thought it when I was watching it, but then I just kind of whatever. Like, the rest of the episode...
That's why I've got my magic notes machine.
If is maybe the best contribution to this whole thing. You just taking the notes to remind us, like, all right, that happened.
And it's you know what? It is rough sometimes because I made copious notes on this episode. I didn't want to. I was transfixed, but I'm like, nope, this is my job. I got it. You know, after when we break for Christmas and I'll go home, I will sit down and rewatch this maybe and experience it. But
Yeah.
So you want to talk about Hiro and Inuyashiki finally like facing off,
Yeah,
finally having a
dude.
conversation?
Yeah.
Hold on, we gotta. I don't know how much we're cutting because some of that might be good goof material, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah, just had some dudes outside working that leaf blower out in the parking lot, and this soundstage is pretty good, but it is not like perfectly sound treated, insulated from the outside world. That's
Yeah.
pretty much just like a paper thin garage door over there. So,
Yeah.
but
Anyway, so yeah.
yeah,
Where were we?
Hiro and Inuyashiki facing off, having a little conversation there, which was so good.
Yeah.
Because Inuyashiki straight up says, like, because Hiro asks, like, hey, you're just like me. Why are you getting in my way? Why are you my enemy?
Yeah.
And, like, because I only feel human when I'm helping people, dude. Why are you murdering people?
Well, he says, I guess you only feel
Yeah.
human when you kill people. Like, so some part of him, like, could comprehend that and attribute
Yeah.
it to him, which is really interesting to me. Like, he could have, if not in, like, if any present moment, he could at least in some point of his head infer that somebody would feel that, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it's a really good scene. I wasn't sure when they were going to get face to face, and this seemed like the perfect episode for that to finally happen. You know, I remember when we were talking about the scene before the episode before the police station thing went down, how everything from here needs to be just like a snowball of shit, and it has been.
Yeah,
Like-
it is.
Like, it has just gotten crazier and crazier. And I wasn't expecting this big showdown in this episode.
Me neither.
Yeah, which leads me to wonder, like, what the hell are we going to cover next episode? What's going to go down?
I know. I am all in for whatever it's got. All chips in. I'm very excited.
And this was 100% the payoff for reminding us that Mari's a thing.
Yeah, right?
Because it's so good. Like, please, just let me go help my daughter. And that is that moment where Hiro could have, in a different universe, be
Yeah.
like, yeah, we are the same. He's got people that he cares about. He does not. He is too far gone. Like, no. Why does this old fuck get to be the hero and I'm the villain? Nah. Fuck you, die, old man.
By the
Yeah.
way, I was right. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't a
Yeah.
vision. He actually went there.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way that was a dream or vision. That just doesn't gel. Like, for me, I was like, that just doesn't gel with how the series does things.
Yeah, well, I really like the way they did it, too, where when we saw it before, it was, I'm pretty sure, him, like, remembering it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was entirely first person from his perspective. This episode, we saw it from, we're talking about when Hiro goes and offers to Shion, what's this?
No, like we're seeing it from
yeah,
his
okay.
perspective, and now we're seeing the other side. As you were talking,
Okay, no,
I
that's
was
fine.
expecting you to keep talking as I do this.
Sorry. But yeah, Shion,
Please come with me to Hawaii.
We saw this side. now the other side.
so yeah, this episode, it was entirely from Shion's perspective. Just like seeing him like, no, you are murdering all the people
Yeah.
though. Why? No.
Please stop killing Shinjuku.
Never. We
Yeah.
must be free of the evil.
And then this fucking fight between the two of them.
Yep. Oh, man, that fight was insane.
I loved the part where they
They
went
blew
into
a bunch of stuff up.
Yeah, when they blew a bunch of stuff up, and they end up knocking each other out. They both get incapacitated, that we've seen, and then it reverts to you just see the camera through like their head, and there's this moment where the murder machines that may or may not have some consciousness, that is Inuyashiki or Hiro, just kind of size each other up in the air. And you just see the camera like erratically analyzing every little aspect of the other robot. And they're just like circling around each other. And they don't do a damn thing for like, I don't know, a good while. And it was so tense. And it was just like, they could, like, do they know what they are? And it's really, there's no answers there. Like, and maybe we'll get them later, but it's just I don't know if they were conscious at that point. Does Inuyashiki know he was murdering all those people like in the cataclysm? Because Ando's like, you got to go higher.
Yep.
You got to go higher, but he's in like murder mode now.
Well,
I don't know.
It's kind of like that battle. They tried to get higher. They wanted to get out of the way, but Hiro was forcing him like into harm's way. I would not blame Inuyashiki for any of the things that happened. But yeah, it's a crazy scene, and yeah, when the robot. So it's interesting. I think what it is it's literally their like the robot's version of their subconscious.
Yeah,
basically just like, okay, the full unconsciousness is out. We're just going full battle mode now. And oh my god, the moment where he rips off the back of his head
man.
is insane.
It's visceral.
Can I before that? Hiro throws a satellite at Inuyashiki.
Oh, yeah!
I would like to just point that out. He plucks a satellite from orbit and throws it at this old man. Holy fucking shit, guys! This is some Dragon Ball Z nonsense.
It is Dragon Ball level insanity going
Yeah.
on. It's really cool. And you mentioned earlier that the CG is in full force here, which I can see it turning off some people. I will not slight you if you think it looks bad, but I guess I have enough goodwill for this show, and I know what it's trying to do, and I just know how these series come about that I'm like, you had to do this to make this show. And if that's what I have to be able to see it, I'm okay with that.
And
Would I
so-
like animated? Probably.
And so many shows this season, you know, your Garos, your Juni Taisens have these dope fight sequences with just no heart or character or
Yes.
I'm not invested, I don't care. This, like, yeah, some parts of it were a little rough, but
You care.
these two characters that we've spent so much time getting to know inside and out finally like this confrontation that's been building and building for 10 episodes now. Like, yeah, I was all up in it every moment.
It's great.
Yeah.
Like if you can look past there, I'm not gonna lie. It does not look great in some parts. Like I can't lie to myself or to you and say it's all perfect and it's fantastic because it does have some problems. The textures specifically,
Yeah, that's the
on
big
like
thing.
were the huge detractor for me. There's a part where they're on a skyscraper and it looks like this thing is a 24-bit JPEG. Like it is real bad.
If you've seen the 90s Spider-Man, the animated series, when he's web-slinging and it's early CGI, it's not that bad, but that's what it reminded me of.
I suspect that ultimately all the compositing and rendering had to be rushed just to get this thing out because the way production schedules happen is that they get, I think, like 1 or 2 episodes in the bag before the series starts, and then it is a like because they have multiple episodes being worked on at the same time. But once it starts, it's like, okay, it's a race to the finish to make sure that it's done. And for an episode like this that was so grandiose in both its action and its scope, they needed to probably rush the rendering process on this. I would not be surprised in the slightest if many episodes of this show look way better on Blu-ray.
I was gonna, that's what I was thinking too.
I would be not surprised. I also would be not surprised if they don't, just because unfortunately this manga was not a hit in Japan. I don't know how the anime is doing. I can't imagine it's doing great in the States just because it's trapped on fucking anime strike, sent off to die.
Yeah, no, I don't see anybody talking about this.
Which is
And
a fucking tragedy.
It
Oh my
really
God.
is.
I agree.
Like, I've told multiple people who have said, hey, this show sounds real cool, but I can't anime strike. Like, dude, buy a month of anime strike and watch this and made an
whole
abyss.
thing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
made it abyss. Yeah. No, you've got 2 shows worth the price of 1 month.
Yeah. That's like $8. You can afford $8 to watch these. Well, this one I know is a great show. The other one I will trust because Scott is usually not an idiot.
Also, again, usually. I did rant and rave about episode 8 last night, so. That being said, if you have Prime, you have video. You can watch it.
Well, no, you do need
It's an
anime
extra
strike
$5.
is an extra above Prime.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You need Prime and the
That's
extra
why Anime Strike is terrible.
Yeah, it is. It is 2 locks that you have to get past, and it's not intuitive. I don't like it. I can only hope that later on we in America we get some other distribution for this show. When it comes out on Blu-ray, holy fuck, you guys will not be disappointed. Like, I know it's really hard to say, hey, buy this show that you've never fucking seen, but hey, Anime Strike's there.
Yeah, well, and it's 11 episodes. I can't imagine that it'll break the fucking bank on Blu-ray.
No, and I don't buy a lot of shows on Blu-ray. I'm buying this.
100%.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys who actually buys in retrospect like old series that I used to love. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna collect that.
yeah, same.
I have an Outlaw Star Blu-ray. I've never watched a single episode off of it.
Yeah, I was more talking about like current stuff.
Yeah.
Like old shit to collect, absolutely. I still have my fucking Gunbuster and all that stupid old shit.
Yeah, well, and new shit I will buy to support the show.
Yeah.
And this is something that kind of needs it. Like, I want more stuff like this. I want this mangaka to be successful and be able to make more stuff.
And they will only listen if you buy it.
Yeah.
I know fans want to think that you can just type words in Twitter. That's not what fucking companies care about.
Yeah.
They will only listen if money's coming in.
Yeah, like, guess what? They're gonna make another Avengers whether you go watch that shit or not. This might or might not get more. I mean, this specific thing, it's done as of next. But stuff like this, and I see our cameraman holding up the magic sign, we will be right back. So our lovely cameraman Tyler brought up a good point, which is first time Inuyashiki, bang.
Yeah, the first time we see him offensively making that gesture, which I think is this is a big deal. Like him making that gesture, because this is what I was like kind of touching on like a few like way back. That is like you can't do that. That's a bad thing to do in Japan. Like that is a very like offensive gesture.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for a lot of like the schools and shit, when all that stuff was, a lot of the things going on with like shootings in America, was bringing it up to, God, I heard about this like years ago when I was in college. We were talking about it. One of my professors mentioned that, they brought up concerns about guns and kids just expressing threats of violence.
Also, you got to remember that, this is the country that gave us the finale of Cowboy Bebop. It's too soon, man, too soon.
It's kind of interesting because Inuyashiki, so with Hiro's character, when he ever does the bang, he doesn't yell at us. He doesn't say bang.
Yeah.
It's just bang, bang. Inuyashiki
he's
is
kinda
yelling. It's like no bang, bang. He's like damn it, die. And it's so interesting to see these two characters where Hiro is the bad guy, the violent guy, and he's the more refrained one. And you have this in Inuyashiki, this optimist, this hero, this good guy, this altruistic guy, and he's the one who's like yelling it out the best this old man can.
Well, I mean, you also got to remember his daughter is dying right the fuck now.
Oh yeah.
And he is, as we've seen in the past too, he has some like good key eyes when he does moves. So I love he gets into it. Like this is. He just kind of like, I don't know how he views himself, but he's just going all out with it, putting everything he has. And because when he has that moment of him flying, going like, God, when he just reflects on his entire life, as he's going like, I have done everything to get to this fucking moment. I became a robot for this moment. Like, oh, it's so compelling seeing how he reflects on himself like that and knows that in this point, in spite of all this shit happened for a reason.
Yep. So
but he made that reason happen.
So circling back around, you started to talk about this, and I kind of interrupted you. When he takes Hiro apart, piece by piece.
Yeah.
Like, so much of this is, crazy DBZ flying around, swooping. This brings it back to, just intensely personal and physical. I am inflicting bodily violence upon you.
Yeah, and he's literally, because he knows, I guess, he knows he can't kill him. So what does he do? He disarms him, pulls his fucking arms off. I don't know what's gonna happen. Who fucking knows? Like maybe his core is gonna, I don't know. But he pulls off the back of his head for knowing that this, I don't know, might not kill him. I don't know.
Well, see, my assumption at least was like there's that little marble in the center of each of their heads, which seems to be we don't know. Seems to be where their actual self is.
Yeah,
I would
to be
assume
that he was trying to get to that.
Yeah.
But once he's got him disabled, every second counts, and his daughter is over there.
yeah.
He does not finish Hiro off.
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually could have, but he's like, no, this has gotten him to stop coming after me. It's time to go after Mari.
Yeah.
When does he recover from robot murder mode?
I'm pretty sure.
Do you remember?
I'm pretty sure it's after what?
When he hits the water.
When he hits the water.
Yeah. When they collide back on Earth. Hero lands in an alleyway, and
Oh yeah, he lands in the lake.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
Yeah. And then
yeah,
he gets.
so it is after he's ripped.
Yeah, okay.
Hero
That's what
apart.
I was trying to remember. Is
Oh
if he
yeah,
was,
no,
okay.
yeah. It's just I guess subconscious ripping him apart, and
okay.
it's not until after it hits the water. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you, trusty cameraman, for that detail.
Yeah, because this is like, I love seeing this like primal essence here that
Oh, yeah.
like and the show has not mentioned a lot of what it is. Just like when they revert to it, we see this really neat effect of like screens completely black and like these little lights flashing of like the kind of like the robots like operating system booting up and going, okay, time to murder, let's go. It reminds me of Iron Giant.
Yeah, very much.
I love that scene where, like, as he's trying to scan for Inuyashiki, like he uses the debris as cover. Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, because it's after the satellite blew up, right? Yeah.
So is it
So good.
So is it time now to talk about? We started to talk about this in the main show. I kind of agree with you that fake out with Mari.
Yeah,
I thought it was too much. They straight up show like flashbacks of her as a little girl. Like this is doing everything it can to convince you, nah, y'all, she's dead.
and
Turns out she's not dead, and I think that is my biggest criticism of the show of this episode. I mean, is that you got to be real careful with that shit because you can lose your audience's trust if you go that far to try to mislead them.
yeah,
Because if they pull that shit again next episode with somebody else, with his wife, with his son, with Mari again, with the dog, I'm going to be sitting there in the back of my mind thinking, yeah, but this might just be another fake out. And that is real rough to try to come back from. I think that is a trick that you can only play once. And maybe not even that.
Yeah.
See, I completely agree with you. Although I did almost like bawl when he was brings her down to the ground. Like that moment he leaves there, I'm like, it worked though. It worked,
emotionally, it's super effective. That's sort of part of the problem.
Yeah,
that's why I don't have a problem with it because it worked on me. And just, I understand like the narrative trouble that can lead to, but in its moment, I was completely there and it could have because in my mind, I'm like, okay, she's either dead or she's not. And the show could do either one and it would be great. Like I'd already kind of resigned to either one happening with that.
Yeah.
But the emotional moment that I was all in on is after that. So he revives her, he gets her out, he gets her friend out, and then he's just gonna go save as many people as he can. And I want to read a quote here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This is something that I've seen a couple of times, specifically on Curtis Takahata 101's Twitter, which is like 90% garbage, but but he's posted this quote a couple of times during days when there's some real bad shit on the news. And I always appreciate saying it. It's a quote from Fred Mr. Rogers, who, when asked about, how do you deal with it when there's all this depressing stuff, this horrible stuff on the news, and he always tells this story. He says, my mother would say to me when I was a little child and I would see horrible stuff on the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I am always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in this world. That is what immediately sprang to mind with this scene with Inuyashiki saving as many people as he can, and it shows like all the EMTs who are like patching people up and also trying to rescue as many people as they can, and everybody, all these crowds seeing him like he is in full public view. There is no hiding after this, and just like, oh my God, God has sent us a miracle. It is a miracle.
Yeah.
It's this it's a very staunch stance on, I think you get authorial intent in full force here with the line, the hope of the best generation, when they talk about, the elderly, the baby boomer era, I think, or like the generation like right after that. This show is kind of condemning everything that Hero stands for. And it's a stance that a lot of people, I think, with the era of interconnectivity and seeing everything, seeing all the garbage, being like realizing how kind of tiny you are and all this, the nihilism that we talked about earlier. It's in vogue now. It's in vogue to hate everything, and I think the author finds that reprehensible, and to a good extent. Yeah, that Mr. Rogers quote really kind of encapsulates the whole stance this show makes at the end, that this hope that there is something good to be done, that no matter what, I can make this good. That's what you cling on to, not the fucking, because what is that going to get you? What is thinking nothing matters going to get you? It's going to get you nothing. What is if you think that there is something that matters, even if everything is yelling at you that it doesn't, there's always a chance.
Yep.
And I love it.
And I think it's very important that this show, it, like you say, condemns everything Hero stands for. It doesn't do it simplistically, because it is so easy to just brush it off like, you got to believe in the power of friendship and hope. And it's easy to be a total Pollyanna about it. This is not that. It treats it with compassion. Like, here is why someone might reach that point. Here is, because all of this darkness and horror in the world is real.
Yeah.
But you've got to rise above it, because that is all there is.
That's the thing that I think really resonates with me is it's kind of like that shonen message of like, believe in yourself and everything's gonna be fucking fine. Like, but none of them get real with it. Like this has that, because it's so grounded, because it's dealing with like real shit and like people being so human, that it really just hits me in a way that no other show has done in a long fucking time. This always like brings me to tears thinking about this, because it is so relevant to how things are nowadays. You gotta fucking have some hope, man.
Yeah. You guys have just been like ping-ponging that back and forth. I didn't have much to say.
No, it's
Like at the end of the day, I had my big conversation about nihilism and optimism last time.
Yeah.
So I feel like, again, this episode very well encapsulates that idea. Just in that moment between Hiro and Inuyashiki, it's just like this pure black and white. And in a lot of other shows, I would have felt like this is really cheesy or really ham-handed. But after everything that's happened for the both of them, it's just this perfect moment. Also, side note, like, getting off tangent with the thematic elements, I just love the fact that Mari loves her dad.
Oh,
Like,
right.
with the way that the rest of the family has treated him, like as an afterthought. Mari has seen something from her father, and and I'm really happy, because I remember when we were talking about the fact that this show is very good at making you instantly care about a character just with 1 or 2 scenes by making them real people. Like that the scene where she's talking about Shonen Jump was like awkward, but it is effective.
Yeah,
I was
it
like,
worked.
And that is a person. That is an actual person. And when we find out that she was concerned about her dad, like, are you gonna die? Because he was like just aging really rapidly.
Yeah.
You get this feeling of, oh wow, she might be the one in the family that actually cares. And then she sees him as a machine, and you're like, oh God, how is she gonna respond to that? No, she calls him. She's like, Dad, I love you. I love you so much, and I'm sorry. And it's like, oh my God, I was like, no, oh my God, are they gonna kill Mari? And if they had, I wouldn't have held it against this show. It would have been a ballsy move. Bringing her back, I still cried. I think it was effective, and it was just, oh man.
And just, man, going into the final episode and having so many shows, you pretty much know how they're going to end. Even really good shows that I like MMO Junkie.
You know what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's no question. These two are going to get together. It's, I still really want to see how it happens and see these characters grow, but the ending is a foregone conclusion. Here, it could be another big confrontation between Hiro and Inuyashiki, where Hiro gets killed. hero could sacrifice himself saving the world. He could be redeemed in some way.
Oh man, okay.
They could blow up the Earth with an asteroid. I would not put that past this
yeah,
show.
I know. Everyone could fucking die afterward.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that makes sense. The final scene will be the aliens going, whoops, that was bad.
Yeah, like any number of things could happen, and not only could I not tell you which one I think is most likely,
Yeah.
there is not one that I would point to and go, well, that would be a shitty way to end it. Like, any way this show goes, I trust this show to end it well.
Yeah, it's
in that way.
Up until now, I could not have told you, okay, so where's this going? It has surprised me every time in a very good way. In a way I feel like most mangaka, most writers are afraid to go in that, so what would this character do next? Well, that sounds complicated and hard to write. I'm going to do that. like the mangaka just went for it. He's like, he'd probably, like, this character would probably shoot up the entire police station. So I'm going to have him shoot up the entire police station.
Yeah, I think after Gantz, this is such a... Because all that stuff, like, what would this person do? Given this crazy god powers, knowing this stuff wouldn't hurt him, what would he do? Probably kill a bunch of people. Okay. Like, and that's... If you know Gantz, that happens. And this is a much more refined and mature look at that stuff that I think was really, like... You know,
It is all the good parts of Gantz just distilled.
just right there. And I mean, if you liked any bit of Gantz, this is just come watch this show with
that,
me.
but better.
It's so good.
Yeah, because Gantz is, I love Gantz. It is
Me too. I love
is
it.
long. It is flawed. Even at its worst, I still enjoy it. But there are parts of it that are just like, man, this is clumsy. This is, you really don't know what you're doing. This is all intentional. This is. Oh, it's so freaking good, you guys!
I know, it's so, I can't wait. I'm just blitzing through the manga after this is done. That's all I want for Christmas. I'm just reading the fucking manga.
You raising your hand?
Sorry to interrupt, but I was doing a little bit of research while you guys were talking about it. There's a live-action movie coming.
Okay, so we're...
what?
In case you couldn't pick it up, our cameraman did a little bit of research. Apparently, we might have a live-action Inuyashiki film? They've announced it? They've
It's
they've
Kitty and
cast
Cat?
it?
3 months ago.
Okay.
Wow.
They just did casting a few months ago.
I'm terrified of that.
yeah.
Because with the way that like live action Japanese films go,
Yeah, there are live-action Gantz movies. They're all the worst parts of Gantz distilled, without any of the good stuff. By which I mean big tits.
I mean, I would have.
They had to get live human actresses.
Terrible. That's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, we'll be back. I'm sure.
Oh,
for
I will
our
watch it.
FMK.
Oh my
Ask
God,
reviews.
here's the-
Oh Jesus.
oh man. I don't know. Dude.
I will put
There,
up a picture of this.
Yeah, you have to put the
Yeah,
picture
I
up
will.
right
We'll
here so you
do
can see
we'll
us
figure it out.
reacting to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
mean,
you can see the little teaser image. I don't know.
They look.
I mean,
they look
maybe
right, but
could be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
If anything, this will get more eyes on the series, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately.
oh, so the Berserk 2016 defense. Got
ah, there you go. Well,
I do not take pride being in their corner, but I will stand.
it. Look, that was a justification for one season. That is no justification for what season 2 became. Ancient Magus Bride.
Let's do it.
Wait. What?
Oh no, sorry.
Oh no, MMO Junkie.
Junkie.
He's got
Yeah,
things
do
to say.
not deny me this.
No, my bad. So I thought that the first half or so of the first part,
Yes.
all of the let's build you a new PC and oh my God, he's coming over to see my place. I gotta clean this shit up. Like that was all super relatable, super adorable. That was this show at its best because look, I've come a long way personally in dealing with my anxieties about people, about women, becoming a more mature and healthy person socially. The first time I bring a girl over to see my place, I go on a fucking cleaning spree because first impressions are important and I don't need people seeing how I actually live my life.
That's a surprise for them to get to later.
Yeah, exactly.
And go, no, I've already got you. Yeah, show it its best. I think that's an easy way to put it. Then we get to what I think I was scared the show was going to be. Not to a degree I think that it has affected you, because I think we've had so much with these characters that I'm ready for them to like fuck. So like this is all just kind of dancing on a tightrope that I'm ready to fall apart.
And that is my biggest problem with this part one is after that, like the hot spring stuff went on too long. Sakurai, they do this quest LAN party style, and that was also real cute. Like, this is not something that these two characters have done before, is sharing this common interest in this exact way. That was real cute. And then the quest that they do unlocks a little in-universe MMO hot springs thing, and Sakurai does his, cute, awkward stammering thing, like, yeah, hot springs are great. We should go to a hot spring sometime. I mean, together. I mean, it would be great, and we could stay overnight. No, that's not what I'm... And yeah, that went on, like, that passed the point of, oh, it's cute, he's so awkward, but he keeps on escalating it every time, to the point where if I didn't actually expect him to say, look, no, I'm just saying, if you were in a hot springs and I was in you in a hot springs and we could be in a hot springs Matryoshka doll, and like, yeah, it was too much. It was over the top. And then he like backspaces like 3 steps back from that and says, and we could bring Koi so it wouldn't be a date. Like, no, that is a step backwards in this character's development that I didn't appreciate.
Yeah, it feels like those consistent harem show blue balls for no fucking reason. It's just shit writing to get out of a predicament that these characters can't get out of otherwise. Like, because there's this tension between them, and you have to have some element to not have it there, because then what's the story?
Yep.
And it's just at its worst in this episode.
I prefer when the obstacles that these characters have to overcome are not outside forces, but internal. That has been one of the things I've liked about this show, because the world has done its best to put these two together, and they are the ones who have constantly gotten in the way of themselves through one way or the other, yet have overcome that. Like, and Sakurai more than Morioka. Like, when it comes down to it, Sakurai and Morimori do have a little bit of imbalance in terms of like who's more aggressive than the other. But here, like, yeah, as you said, let's have Koiwai come. First of all, they don't even follow up on it, so it kind of just seems pointless in the first place to even have that whole thing happen. Secondarily, yeah, just having Koiwai come is having a person there to keep them from hooking up. But then again, we also know Koiwai, and he'd probably be like, yeah, I'm just going to leave you two alone. Have a good time.
See, if I thought for a moment that this was actually going to be part of their ongoing character arc, it might have bothered me more. I did not have that expectation going in.
Yeah.
That arc completed itself. It ended perfectly, and nothing can change that.
Yep.
In fact, if it had actually like, oh, now they actually kiss or whatever, that might have bothered me more, because no, I don't need that. It ended at the perfect place. If what it gives me is just an exaggerated distillation of what the show has been up until this point, it might not be the greatest thing, but it's fine.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the canon discussion right now, but this is the moment where I go, okay, this isn't part of what I consider the story, so I don't fucking care. Like, anything can happen here.
Everything about it was contrived to me. Oh, my computer broke. Well, don't worry, I'll help you build a new one. I'm like, okay, I could see this happening in a real story. Well, now I have to come over to your house. Well, okay, yeah, I guess you'd have to come over to our house. Now I'm going to, you're going to, spill your tea, and I'm going to trip over you. No, done. That was the point where I'm like, do not do that. Do not do this whole coincidence, accident, gets them physical thing. That's not what I wanted. I like the idea that he grabbed her hand again because he was like, no, this is what I want. I don't want this whole, whoops, I fell on top of you Like, that's forcing. God damn it! There's just so much going on there that I hate because it's poor writing.
It's shit.
In a show that has towed that line so well, in a show that has only made one or two like missteps to me in terms of storytelling, this was one after another, and it never redeems itself. There's no redemption in this whole thing that makes these missteps into, okay, that was just a quirk. No, it was bad.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. That said, I mean, it's over and done with in like 2 seconds.
I mean, it is, but it's still like, again, I don't know what happened. I don't know who wrote this. I don't know if it was the mangaka who wrote it. I don't know if it was just someone on the anime staff who was adapting it who wrote it. I'm hoping to God it's the second.
Yeah.
Because like that whole first part, again, it started off okay and then just went right down for me. And again, that whole scene with the hot spring was dumb. I'm sorry. Like the whole like, we should go to hot spring. I mean, we should go to hot spring together. Like a hot spring vacation. Like, okay, we get it. Like him making the suggestion of the hot spring in the first place already seemed out of character for Sakurai. I'm sorry, it just did. And the fact that he doubles down on it nervously wasn't funny to me, and it wasn't like, and again, with the part at Koyo at the end, no, I'm sorry. Like, I don't like it, and I hated that sequence. And then we have the second half, which we barely talked about.
Yeah, let's talk about part 2 here, the whole dream sequence, Wizard of Oz style, like, oh, here's, these 3 men who are friends with this underage girl for some reason, but now they're a lion and a tin man and let's go down the yellow brick road.
Although it's not even necessarily Wizard of Oz.
No, it is not like a direct Wizard of Oz reference. It's just
but even that, because in Wizard of Oz, she imagined that people in her life were all these characters. In this, they coexist with them, which I actually liked. Like,
I thought that was neat. That was cool.
Conceptually, I was actually okay with that. I'm like, oh, Kanbei is in the same room with his. I always forget.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Guild leader.
Actually, Kanbei is his name in the game. I don't know what his real name is.
I can't remember what his real name is.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of like, oh, hey, cool. They're all in the room with their characters.
Morioka, not Hayashi, her character name, but Morioka is physically in the game meeting Hayashi and Lily.
Yeah, in her sweatpants and everything.
Yeah.
Typical ass, dressed down. The one part of this I thought was really interesting was her looking at Hayashi and going, man, he's so cool. This is like the sort of dude. That'd be neat if there was a real person like him. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And then she thinks back to that moment that Sakurai was like, I'm glad you're not here to see it. that really assertive, thing when he did. And I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Actually, again, that part I like. I like the fact that she's like, oh, man, no wonder I like him. I'm trying to be the guy that I want to be, and he's being the guy I want to be in the game. And no.
And that is why that is quite possibly Sakurai's best moment when he is on the phone with Koiwai and says, yeah, she's so cute. I'm kind of glad you're not here to say it. Because he's clever and he is assertive without being pushy. Like that moment is what this character can aspire to be. And she doesn't hold it against him, and I don't hold it against him that he's not that all the time. She's, he is what he is, and she loves him for who he is.
And I think the reason he was like that in that moment is because he's used to Koiwai. Mm-hmm. He's like, all right, I know how to shoot back to this. We've done this. We've played this game. Yep. Let me. And in that moment, not only does he have a great response to Koiwai, but he flat out just hit, like, it's a home run with Morimori, and I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not to go too wildly off tangent, but like as men, male friendships can be a tricky thing because there's often an element of competition there that can easily get unhealthy if you let it. But that is that at its best, where you use that natural element of competition to challenge each other to be your best self.
Yes.
That is that encapsulated in a beautiful way.
And Koiwai does that, and Koiwai does that the whole show.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And very intentionally and consciously, also intentiously, which is what I was about to say.
And speaking of Koiwai, in this story, and which I found good enough, he's the villain.
Yeah.
I thought it was cute. You know what? For this little omake of a special, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, here's the thing. The second half is dumb fun,
Yeah.
where I was able to mostly enjoy it
Yes.
to a certain extent. But again, it has one or two, a fatal misstep for me. A fatal misstep. And we'll get into that when we get to the scene itself. After these messages. So yeah, but we'll talk about necessarily the scene that about we'll talk about that later. But so yeah, the idea is that she is in this world that is basically fruits de mer. I don't know how to
Fruits
say.
fruits de mer for us English speakers.
Yeah, fruits de mer. And Sakurai has been kidnapped by Koiwai the king, and I love the role reversal. There is I can appreciate it. It's thematically
funny.
you know.
Yeah, it is a nice little meta commentary on the whole like gender role reversal thing that they've been doing all show long.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on that level, I think it works. I also thought it was real adorable that Princess Sakura looks like Sakurai cosplaying as Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I was like, that's just
Yeah.
Princess Peach.
Yeah,
Yep,
straight up Peach
100%.
outfit.
And but here's the thing. So a lot of the concepts I like, and they play with it well enough. And as a dumb fun, I can agree with it. But even the dumb fun in MMO Junkie has been mostly smartly written. Here, it felt lazy in a couple places. Like, I get the idea that Koiwai is trying to be the evil villain guy, but he comes off even sleazier than usual, and I'm not sure how much I dig on that. Like, legitimately sleazier, and not the playful sleazy as he like tries to do.
Well, yeah, it's an exaggerated dream version of him.
Yeah, but I don't want exaggerated dream versions of these characters. I think the characters are fantastic on their own. Exaggerating them only does what I didn't want. It makes them more characters than characters. And like no other character features that. Like no other character in this world like
that's because Poda whatever with the big breastplate green guy is not a character. So what are you going to do with him?
Okay, yeah, but
Emeralda's not actually a character. What are you going to do?
Well, okay, then again, actually, I guess to a certain extent, Kanbei and Convenience Store Clerk are a little bit, like, they play up their attributes a little bit, too. But again, the thing with Koiwai is that he's never actually full-on sleazy. Like, he can be a little bit cheeky and whatnot, but usually it's to an end of, like, you know, oh, yeah, he might be a little bit naughty, but he's trying to do well by these people, and he's trying to do well by his friend. Here, it's just awkward. Because it's like, well, okay, now he's the version of the character you don't want him to be, and to the service of what?
A dream.
Yeah, like
I think you're looking at a little
obstacle
too,
for our heroine to overcome.
Yeah, it's just really I was able to leave my brain at the door for this one.
It was a bunch of cute gags.
Yeah.
I thought it started off maybe a little slow, but I thought that all the stuff with like the big giant gachapon.
Yeah,
those
yeah.
are cute.
Yeah.
Those are cute. Like I like the idea you open you have to like pry it open and then hey,
Yeah.
it's your stuff.
Yeah. It's like some fun loot box stuff, some like, hey, like you've said all along, like if you've played MMOs, if you've played modern
Here
video
you go,
games,
you know this.
Yeah,
But and this is a bit more forced than I think the other iterations of it.
Oh, yeah.
But it is like it's just that fun. Like, hey, we've done this. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
there we go.
That little dopamine hit that comes from recognition.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all
just-
it is, and
yeah,
it's
that's
fine.
It is totally it's palatable. I'm not gonna say this is amazing. I'm not
No.
gonna say this is fantastic. I also don't think it's terrible. I think this is just it's okay.
Yeah, I think it is eminently skippable, but you're not doing yourself a disservice by watching it either.
There is one part though.
Yeah.
in
What
this-
part do you think is like the worst?
Okay, so like this little OVA does one thing where I really wish they had just gone ahead and shown it. But I put on the armor. I wish they'd actually just shown him wearing the armor instead of the glowing light, because it's like that would have been way funnier if we'd actually like. He didn't have to show his crotch or anything, but give more than just the illusion of the glowing light, because
So the joke here is that the Demon King Koiwai can be instantly defeated by anyone wearing this magic Dragon Quest-ass bikini armor.
yes.
And the assumption the whole time is like, oh, is Morioka going to put on the armor? Will she, be willing to do yada, yada, yada? Which actually, I thought that was real cute because it's dealing with her fear of sexuality.
Yeah.
But, the twist at the end is that Sakurai says, "Oh, but nothing says that the girl has to put on the armor."
Yeah.
He puts on the armor, and that defeats the Demon King Koiwa.
And in a hilarious like Dragon Ball like level of
And
like-
I thought that was funny. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. So he realizes anyone could put on the armor, and it's Sakurai once again moving forward with the role reversal of gender, and I was cool with that. And while I wish they'd gone all the way and just shown him instead of the glow thing, that was just I thought it would have been funnier the other way. But it did the job well enough. But the reason and the big thing that I didn't like was it showed Mori in the armor. I'm sorry. No. Fuck you, show. Fuck you all the way.
it did.
Yeah. No, you did not need to do that. In fact, it was completely against what the show has done all the way up until now of having Morioka not be sexualized. You didn't have to show it. In fact, it would have been way funnier to show only him in the armor because that would have been way, way more subversive. But no, you had to show Mori in this armor because, we have to have our fan service. No, fuck you. I'm so fucking done with this. I'm so fucking done of shows basically like it is completely out of character for it to be in it. But here you go, because we know that you want to see it. No, I don't like that. I hate it. It's gross and bad. Like it's tactless.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. It was there for 2 seconds.
It's there for it's there and
thematically
gone.
inconsistent.
Let us talk, Scott. You've been talking for like 20 minutes. In an imagined spot within a dream sequence.
Yeah, she's imagining it in a dream.
You are overanalyzing this so hard,
But this is the auteur's perspective, and that matters. The auteur's perspective is that you have to look at this from the way that it's the way that it's consumed. Yeah, she might imagine that. Why do we need to see it? What is the purpose of us, the audience, seeing her in that armor? To titillate. That's it. That was the purpose of that shot.
Yeah, and if that's the most that this show does,
then that's pretty blasé.
In its 11 episode run, then who fucking cares? It's 2 seconds of screen
Like
time.
for how much you like Sword shirtless, like I can't believe you're this mad about that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You have Sword shirtless, and you also have Gina being Gina.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's... And by the way, both of them are fully comfortable with that. Sword is comfortable laying around in his underwear, and Gina's okay with being Fujiko Mine and as an alchemist.
My point being is that this is where this is the natural conclusion to a relationship is we're gonna have to deal with this topic.
Oh, yeah.
And we've already gotten there.
Yeah,
so I'm okay
eventually
with
we're
it.
gonna have to be naked together.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it.
And I agree. But throughout the entire show, they have so avoided anything to sexualize Morioka more than what the scene called for. Because again, when he I think the last episode, was it the last episode where he's staring at her boobs?
Yes, that was the last episode.
Yeah, that was completely that he's gonna stare because he's a dude.
Yeah.
And Morioka looks adorable in that sweater because of course she does. That's right. That's correct. That's this makes sense. She's still adorable, and wearing that sweater and having sexual tension between these characters makes total sense. There was no reason to show her in the armor because she was never going to put it on.
There's no reason for her to be in the game.
Yeah.
She's in a dream. She's asleep.
Yeah, exactly. She is in a dream. She is asleep.
Yeah.
But you don't get it. You don't get why I'm upset.
No.
Yeah, and that's fine. But I'm just saying, the only reason that scene is there is to titillate, and the manga's never done that. The manga in the show never went out of its way to just have fan service for the sake of fan service.
That's all this episode was.
Yeah,
let's
we had our fun story. Now let's just goof off.
Now we can break our own rules and do a bunch of wacky, crazy
it's still
stuff.
breaking its own rules, which I was like, okay, whatever.
But I don't enjoy that. That's
fine. I just don't think it's this criminal act of someone murdering a dog. You sound like someone killed you.
Yeah, it's one thing to say this doesn't do anything for me, and like you say, another thing to no, this should never happen.
It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have happened. I'm sorry.
We shouldn't have seen Sakura in a dress.
Sakura in a dress is funny. Sakura in a dress
Her
He
having to
actually
potentially deal with, oh no, maybe I'm sexy.
Yeah, I am uncomfortable with my own sexuality, but I might have to put on this outfit and be sexy for a man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that is an interesting tension.
Yeah, that is an interesting tension. She never does it, though. Does she? Does she ever put it on?
No.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she spends 2 seconds imagining what it would be like.
It's like 2 seconds, dude.
Yeah.
It's barely there.
Well, Scott's a prude, ancient Magus bride.
I'm not a prude. You know I'm not.
Only when it comes to boobs, apparently.
No, because I like Gina. I like
You like
Fujiko Mine.
you like Fujiko Mine.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like sexualized characters. You're misreading me here.
No, I'm not. He's busting your balls, son.
Scott's wrong. Ancient Magus bride. Actually, seriously though, Ancient Magus bride.
Do it!
Because we have talked this shit to death at this point.
Go for it.
And I don't even know where oh my god, this episode, you guys, it is so fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
Every frame of this episode is amazing.
I
Where do
used
we
the
even
word
start?
rapturous earlier. I mean that. This is visually arresting. I had to stop everything I was doing.
I really want to know what the production schedule for this show is
I'm
like.
right-
I want to know
I'm
what the
so
team is like. I
curious.
want to know how much the backgrounds.
They're so
Yeah.
good.
In a season, by the way, and I've made a point of this, in a season of anime where the backgrounds have been, it's just a second fucking thought in half these shows. This one is like, no.
Yeah, these. Oh god.
Every frame's a fucking painting, and it's amazing.
Yeah, the whole song and dance and just this lavish, like I don't know, like Epicurean feast for the senses. Like it's really something special here.
Like
Yeah.
we've been talking about the Ghibli angle, this
Yeah,
Celtic,
yeah.
Gaelic Ghibli all season. Always in the back of my mind, it's like, yeah, by TV standards. This is like I can point to this without that caveat.
You go, no, could be in a movie.
Yeah, this is
It's
movie
good.
quality, like top tier movie quality. It is gorgeous.
It is ridiculously good looking.
It's like it's skimming like Your Name levels of visuals for me. It's really fucking good.
It is sumptuous. Do I need to get out my thesaurus? Because I will.
Yeah.
I want to. I would want to make love to this episode because there's no way that I could match it. I feel way too self-conscious.
So, Elias, bitch, I eat people.
Yeah, that was chilling and made sense, and I was like, yeah, you probably have eaten people.
Yeah.
I like how he drops it too. It's just like I've probably eaten people. I don't
know what to do.
know what
with
to do
that.
about it. It's just like, hey, you're kind of my only guiding figure. I would like to join this world of humans, but I might be a monster. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And he's just like, any tips? Anything I should do? And Lindo like kind of diffuses it. And because he's also telling Chisei, he's like, here's how I kind of
Yeah.
traipsed about that.
And kind of owns up to, like, yeah, I didn't know how to handle it,
Yeah.
so I just kind of changed the subject. And I love the honesty, too, which is not something that, like, you can tell that however many years, centuries potentially later, Elias has built up all of these safeguards around himself. He doesn't talk about himself. He doesn't talk about his history. If he ever figured out where he comes from or what he is, he hasn't really said so.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously knows more than he's told, but whether he knows everything at this point, we don't know. But back then, it's like, yeah, he was a child. He didn't have those filters. He just straight up says, like, yo, I think this is who I am. What do I do about this, Daddy?
Yeah. It's
Is it Lionel? Or-
Lindo.
Yeah, Daddy Lindo, what do I do? I think humans might be tasty.
Yeah, it's neat because it brings about the because once he mentions that, Chisei internalizes that, and we get her flashing back to the scene that we had a few episodes prior of, or maybe the one before, I can't remember, of Elias above her with his like tongue out. That one shot we see of like just dangerously close, a little vor territory here. What are you gonna do? And then we switch over to her mom. It's like just a brief moment again, just like because when she thinks back to that, you see that kind of for a flash again. It's interesting how she can't like break the two away of someone like trying to just be dominant on her and also thinking about her mom trying to kill her. I am very curious to see where this goes because we've mentioned beforehand that like kind of where this stuff is going to go is a more controlling Elias might show up and be the bad, the second act fall.
Yeah, although I said that
knows?
last time, based on this episode, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's not going that way. But
Yeah. And I had said last episode, like, well, no, this is this is the arc that you need to follow. That's dramatically satisfying. Actually, no, that's the formula, and it doesn't seem like they're going with that formula. But I'm still really satisfied with the
yeah.
direction this seems to be going.
Yeah. It's a really telling moment when he's in that lake phone call with her. I really liked how all that came about because it was equal parts convenient, but all equal parts made sense with with everything that's happened up till now. And I'm like, yeah, I could see this happening. They've explained it well enough. She basically makes a video call with the lake.
But it's taking Elias' worst fears, which is, oh no, she's going to go off and have these wonderful experiences and not need me anymore and leave. And it's realizing, like, no, she goes off and has these wonderful experiences and, derives value and enrichment from that, but still wants to go back to him.
I also love the fact that, when he's like, I'm not kind of feeling a little, things aren't great. Well, what's wrong? Like, what? Tell me what's happening. She's concerned and she cares, and in that moment, I think Elias is like, "Oh, yeah, you still actually give a shit, even though you're out in the land of the dragons with a bunch of elves and songs and all this stuff, and you're concerned about me and my well-being in my home." And I love that. I like it's like so. I've set the fire and I have the stove on, and it's still so cold in this house, and it's so.
that's a good line.
It's so perfect, too, because he is honest but not needy.
Yeah.
He is sharing what he is feeling in that moment, but not in such a way as to, you got to come home right now, or never leave again, or just like, no, this is just what I'm feeling right now, and I'm sharing that with you. This might be the most vulnerable he has ever been to her.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is wonderful seeing that because we've sort of said, like with Lyndall being the one to reveal this disturbing part of his past, like that is Elias' hand being forced.
Yeah.
But this moment with them talking to each other through this water, he doesn't have to tell her that, but he does, and that's important.
It's a beautiful scene. Like everything about that scene. And also I like going back to an earlier scene. I remember in The Land of the Cats, he talked about the fact that he doesn't like kids. And now we see exactly why. They literally can just see that there's something there. That's evil, that's weird, that's wrong. And that whole scene was kind of terrifying. And even though you know that that's Elias, you don't know what kind of Elias that is in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and he's because Lyndall gets chased out of the village. One of them hits him in the head with a rock, and Elias, much like he did when he was protective of Chisei, he snaps, and it is terrifying because I would not put it past this show. Like, he could have visited some terror on those people.
Yeah.
He could have done some real bad shit.
The moment those vines came out, I'm like, are we gonna see people die?
Yeah.
Like it was this close to those vines just going through people.
Yeah.
And Lyndall does manage to call him back, and that could have felt like a cheat. It didn't. Like it still felt. It's not like, oh, they should have showed him murdering some people and they didn't. It is perfectly satisfying that Lyndall was able to. I was starting to say restrain, and that's not what it is.
No.
He pleads. I don't know. Plead isn't the right word. I don't know what. He implores Elias to do this, and Elias is able to restrain himself, and I think that's also an important thing to remember.
Yeah, he pulls himself back, doesn't he?
Yeah, at Lyndall's request, but he does restrain himself. He is capable of self-restraint. He is capable of not acting on these impulses.
Yeah, and a part of that, I think, is due to the fact that Lyndall is kind of his dad. Even at this point, he's like, this is the person I need to trust. He's the only person in the world that matters to me.
Yeah, like before he had Chisei, he had Lyndall as his like conduit to humans.
It's
his teacher.
They had that. I think it was this episode. They had the line that I think kind of sums up the problem with him is that he's viewing things like I think he says, I can't remember the exact quote. I think he says it's like he's viewing things like through a window or something, or like I can't remember how he words it, but it's when he's like, oh, I shouldn't just capture this rabbit, for fun, or like just because, for the hell of it. And he's like, something's wrong with him. It's like he's just like observing things, or like I say things and he doesn't. I can't remember exactly.
This is one of those exact quotes that I wrote
Oh,
down.
did you get? Okay, good.
Yep. He learned quickly, but always seemed to be looking in from outside.
Yeah, like he's looking in from outside. That's so telling of like the kind of the sociopathic nature he has.
Yeah,
to him.
This is like Hero done. Like
Yeah.
If Hero was a good guy, because he has those. He doesn't quite understand everything, but he's willing to learn, and he is willing to accept. Like, okay, if you tell me that this is a bad thing, I will believe you, and I will abide by that.
Yeah, like, hey, don't kill those people.
Yeah, like, okay, Dad. Yeah.
All right, fine.
I will trust you that this is the right thing to do, and this. And
Yeah.
that is why, like, we want Elias to fully be able to grok these things, but at least in the meantime, while he's unable to, he's not a danger.
No.
Yeah, and it makes sense as to why his character nowadays has a moral compass, but it is something that he's learned. Like he's studied from Lyndall and other characters and other people, not something that he inherently feels.
He just kind of amassed these values from people he likes.
Yeah, and that is what makes Elias such an interesting character, is that he is not a danger to damn near anybody, but he's still
removed.
Yeah, he's still very removed. And that's what makes that's what makes Chisei so important, is that she is finally finding a part of him deep down inside that is actually emotional, and it's not just a fight or flight response. Like, he can be emotional in that he can be like, again with Lyndall, he's like, don't you fucking hurt him. Like, it's kind of like this instant personal response, but yeah, I don't know. It's explored very well here. Again, it's a little weird again that we're hearing this from Lyndall, but to move the story along appropriately, that might have had to have happened. I don't know how long it would have taken for Elias to have felt the need or the necessity to sit down and talk about these things himself.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of had to happen here because it gives us a lot of background on. At this point, we need to know. The next thing I really want to know is more of Chisei's background. I really hope we see that soon.
And it seems like they will, because it does like a quick flashback to scenes from her past. Some of those are from that prequel OVA.
That's what I suspected.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Just like individual frames.
You know, I think you and I need to watch those OVAs now that we're this far into it.
I'm this far. I'm probably going to watch it anyway. So yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
like-
Well, I mean, we're taking an extra week before the finale, so that might be a
yeah.
good time to.
yeah, probably.
And also MMO Junkie is over, and Garo's dead, so we've got 2 episodes to watch for next time. I think we can add another 3 onto you guys' load.
Sure,
Well,
I
I
can
don't
do
know. You're going on vacation. I don't know. You've got a rough schedule between now and I don't know. We'll see.
I can watch the OVAs. It's not that much of a problem.
Yeah. Also, watch My Hero, you jackass.
I will.
I'm
Yes, I want to watch it.
I'm just busting your balls.
Although I am kind of curious. I know that you've seen it, but you've seen it subbed, haven't you?
I've seen what?
You watched it subbed, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it sub too.
I've seen. Okay, cool. If we ever talk about it, I've watched the dub, so I'll be able to kind of.
I've seen like scenes from the dub, and I really liked it. But
it is a A+ dub.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that.
Hey
Well,
man,
and-
I know Justin, so.
Well, and with as much as you've got to watch still, we might not wind up actually covering it until after the winter season. I would like to get everybody here all caught up and on the same page before the spring season, where season 3 happens.
When does that go? What month is that?
I'd have to look it up.
Pretty sure it's like late March, early April.
Late March? Okay.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then I could probably do that.
That is actually a reasonable time
Yes,
frame.
that is
get
to
caught
watch.
up.
I don't know, 30-something episodes.
Yeah, like 31, I think.
So are we?
from where you
Are we done with? Anyone else have anything to say about Magus Bride?
One thing. So after they get chased, after Lyndall and Elias get chased out of the human village, Lyndall magics them away to some, I'm not even sure what it is. It's like this golden tree void.
The Forest of the Gods.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what its name is. I don't know what it is.
yeah.
It's a very interesting thing. He's like, we need to get out of here quickly.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like a spirit realm, if it's the ether, if it's a pocket dimension, magic land, fairyland.
It's magic forest shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's dope, whatever it is. And Elias is the one to guide them out of there using
yeah.
a technique that we saw in the previous episode that Lyndall did. And I think that is, during that moment when Lyndall has the most reason to be frightened of Elias, I think that is another thing, in addition to the fact that Elias is capable of self-restraint, I think that's another thing that re-endears Lyndall to Elias, is remembering, this is my baby boy.
Yeah,
He
no.
is learning this shit from me. This is something that I taught him. His growth and maturation as a magic user and as a person is something that I've given him. Like you talk about Lyndall as a surrogate parent to Elias. I think this is that really driven home. Like, there are lots of, I don't think Elias is a horrible character in any way, shape, or form, but you talk about characters in fiction who are horrible characters, your Joffreys in Game of Thrones, and their parents, or Hero and his mother, who their parents will still love them even if they're fucking monsters.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen Elias be a monster. He has been monstrous. Physically, I don't think he is a monster. We don't know what he's done in the past. He may have done monstrous things. Lyndall will still always love him.
Yeah.
And I think being able to see that through Lyndall's eyes is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If for any reason we saw, we had to get the background through Lyndall's perspective, that makes him as a character just so much more important to the story for me. Because he was just kind of this guy who was like, yeah, I knew him from centuries ago, whatever the fuck. We didn't really get much on the background that those two have together.
And
so getting that, I really, really like.
Yeah, I'm happy to have. I don't want a huge cast, but I'm more than happy to have some good auxiliary characters in the wings should anything go wrong. So or the plot necessitates it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I to that extent, again, with the whole thing about him saying it instead of Elias was always just kind of a thing of. It just felt a little weird, but thematically it makes sense, and it's really helping to build this world. And it's for me it was just odd, but I totally
I understand what you're saying.
It is not a huge detraction, and I totally agree with you guys about how it's helped.
Yeah, I think Elias needed a push.
Yeah.
Whether that
whether
that took the form of Lyndall sitting Chisei down and telling her this story, whether it took the form of, it could have just as easily have been Lyndall talking to Elias and saying, hey man, you gotta open up to this girl. It could have been many different things. I think it is important that it comes from Lyndall, and I am glad that it took the form of elaborating on what their relationship is. I think that's huge, and that needed to happen for our benefit as the audience.
I like it just time because this is a multifaceted episode, because not only are we getting this backstory, she's also, we haven't talked much about it, she's also making her wand.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
This is a super intimate moment, and she's like, it's obviously the person who makes the wand has to craft it, and the master's gonna finish it. So we get this reprisal of Lyndall being not only a master to Elias, but also to her, which he comments on later, saying, I feel like I'm raising two kids. And I thought that was really cute.
Raising two children. Who
What do you
will
want?
probably end up baking.
No.
Press the button. The final shot of the episode is the fireplace, cold, no fire in it. Elias gazing out the window. He's had his moment of connection with this person who has become so important to him, and he's gotten what he needed. And it wasn't a literal physical fire in the fireplace.
Okay, yeah, I needed to. Yeah, I wanted some clarification on that, because did it seem like because was he lying that he was saying everything lit for the house and it's still cold without you, or is he just is that just his way of trying to connect?
To be fair, we did see the fire going in previous episodes.
Yeah.
Like it is gone out at this point.
Okay, all right, just
Yeah.
making sure.
Yeah, that was my interpretation of it. Of it, at least, was he is trying all these things to fill this void that's been left when she left the house.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he hasn't. Yeah, okay, yes, that's right.
And this is him recognizing, oh, what I needed was that connection with her, and now I've gotten that, to tide me over until she gets back, and now I'm fine.
I'm glad you said that. That's yes.
Yeah,
That's good.
I would not have put that together, and that's great.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, just tiny little detail, but it is those little details that make this show so special, and I love it.
I think if I'd seen that in the manga, I would have been able to put that together a little bit better. Because when it comes to visual storytelling in anime, there's always kind of a part of me that's like, why are they focusing on this? Is there a particular reason, or are they just trying to buy time? In a lot of the time in manga, usually if you have something in frame, it's like
Deliberate.
It's very deliberate. So I
Also-
have to keep in mind that the show is very deliberate with its visual storytelling.
Yep. Also, it's rough when you got to be taking notes and you might legit miss certain things.
Yeah.
I try not to pause it too often because that can also fuck with the flow of the episode, but sometimes you gotta to catch
Yeah.
everything.
I'm surprised you don't just watch. Well, then again, that would double your time.
You watch it
Yeah.
twice?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I could nowadays, now that we're down to
Yeah.
now 2 shows next week because MMO Junkie is done. It's not dead, it's just finished. And in fact, holy shit, we've got our
I was gonna say yeah. Now we have.
officially we have our first survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, MMO Junkie survived the gauntlet.
Yep.
Survived the multiple weeks fuckage and killing.
Wow. I can't.
It got exactly 1 kill as of episode 11.
I mean, okay, so let's be completely honest. We know that the Inuyashiki's not going to die, and
No.
probably neither is Magus. Like,
No.
like we're not going to sit here like maybe it'll be next week. No.
Yeah, well, and for Inuyashiki, next week's the finale, much like MMO Junkie, like what we will give it next week is sort of a final opinion. It's not going to determine whether it continues on again because as much as we might want all the Inuyashiki that beautiful mangaka can give us,
And I'm just saying, there's no way that we're going to kill it next week. So it's kind of interesting because, yeah, by the end of the season, we worked it down to 3 shows.
yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Like when you
That's-
think about it, like.
On the one hand, it's kind of crazy. On the other hand, Sturgeon's Law dictates that 90% of everything is shit. Out of 11, we found 3 shows.
That's a big percentage.
Yeah, that is beating the odds as far as I'm concerned.
I
That is
was-
actually really impressive.
I was expecting to like 1 show this entire.
Yeah, right?
I was expecting to like 1, and it was Black Clover. I was expecting to enjoy because I was like, okay, it's gonna be just shonen by the numbers. Whatever. I need something like Bleach. And no, I did not know what to expect from any of this shit. And we're going to take our little week break for Christmas. And man, I'm fucking excited to show my family some cool anime. Because my dad loves watching shit. He's always like, what show's good? What are you watching?
Oh man, do you think your dad would like Inuyashiki?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm my entire family. I had them last year I went, we all watched Kaiji, all of season 1 and 2. Yeah.
Wow.
Man, and everybody going into this season, not to preempt our season indie discussion too much, everybody going into this season kept saying, oh, this is kind of a rough season to start with. That's,
Yeah.
spring and summer this year were so good. And
The only good things are sequels. Everything original looks like shit.
guess what?
Wrong.
You want to see what originals are actually good? That's what this show is all about. Come tune in. We'll tell you.
Yeah, because we have a strict no sequels policy, and unless
Not strict. No jumping in part way policy.
Yeah,
If we are all caught up, Kieran, ask me why I want you to be caught up with My Hero by the time spring rolls around.
Ben, why do you want me to be caught up with My Hero
Because I want to
Academia
watch
by
some
the time
fucking.
the spring rolls around?
I want to watch some fucking My Hero.
and then talk about it here.
Yeah, exactly. If all 3 of us are caught up, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I will. I'll get caught up by March. I'll be caught up by the time the season 3 comes around. I've loved it. I've just watched it in my off time and just haven't finished it.
Tell us how much of that you've had.
Yeah, a good bit.
Yeah. Enough to watch what you are contractually obligated for this show, perhaps.
But you know what? It's okay. It is good. I did not expect. I feel like I brought this up before, but man, I did not expect to enjoy sitting by myself or with my girlfriend and watching anime and having a good time.
Yeah,
It was good.
To be completely honest with you, I've been kind of off the anime scene for a long while because
Same.
That ditto.
I occasionally I would watch a show like Steins Gate or something like that, and I still kept up with some of my shonen. Like My Hero is one of those. I'm like, okay, cool. I read the manga for this. I definitely
Yeah.
want to watch this. And when Promised Neverland eventually gets an anime, by the way, read Promised Neverland. It's coming up from Viz. I'll watch that. But no, this season has finally given me some like, oh man, I can't wait to sit down and watch this show.
Yeah, and because as a youth, as a boy, a lad, my dad bought when ADV and Geneon were at their peak, and just fucking everything was coming out. He bought everything. I tell people I have a shed, a walk-in closet of anime. I'm not exaggerating. We have fucking everything you can imagine, from the best to the worst drivel, and I watched all of it because why not?
In the first episode of this show, when I asked why should people care what you think of anime, and you said I was born in the weeb,
Yes,
you were not exaggerating.
No, that's what I was saying. Like I watch it with my father. He was like, he watched this stuff all the time. He was like, you gotta watch it. You'll have fun. And I did. And then just kind of over the years, I fell out of it, fell back into it. And it's like I'd come back for like Gurren Lagann, Kaiji, like really big things people talk about. But like just random shit, 11-episode shows, I don't watch any of that. It's so fulfilling to see and know that there is quality out there. And that's what we're here to do, so show you the good shit.
Yeah, and we're not here to give you some simple rating at the end of it, too. We're here to talk about what works, what doesn't work, and to give you different personalities.
I'd have to give Inuyashiki a 9.5.
And that is why you are here in the Unsnipped segment, where we get all up dick deep in it.
I love doing this kind of analysis shit, man. I love it.
Absolutely. I'm having the time of my life. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in. We will see you in 2 weeks, give or take.
About, yeah.
That first week back might be a little rough.
Yeah, who knows?
Might not come out right on Wednesday when you're used to it, but guys, we will see you next time for our final thoughts for that Inuyashiki finale.
Finally.
Oh,
I'm so excited.
I'm Ted.
see you next time.
See ya.